Austin, whenever. Thanks, County Commissioner Court come to order Tuesday, the 17th day of August, 2021. Budget workshop scheduled for 9:30 a.m., now 9:37 a.m. And this is a budget workshop to discuss and consider 2020 budget. For the record, Commissioner Hammond is not present. And I will say that Dorothy Faye Hamilton, longtime Chambers County resident, passed away this week. So remember that her family in your prayers, thoughts and prayers. So, all right, Ms. Hutter, you're first up. Tax assessor collector.
Thank you, Judge. Thanks for being invited, and let me speak. Let me start out by saying that I spoke with a couple of commissioners already about what I'm going to talk to you guys about, just to get some advice on how to handle what I'm going to ask you guys. Therefore, I killed a lot of trees. And by me, I mean Jolene and Alicia and Regina did, and to get y'all some numbers and stuff put together so that you can see what I'm going to explain to you guys. Y'all know that I'm not the best politician in the world, so that I'm kind of nervous actually, because I don't want to be the old Denise, because that doesn't get things handled very well. So I'm just a 35-year-old employee of the county that started at the bottom, that worked their way up. And so therefore, I've seen a lot of changes in the county. Some good, some bad, some right, some not so right. And
So you've only been here 10 years?
Yeah, something
You're
like
45.
that, because I'm just 45 now. I love you. Anyway.
Make a good politician.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've seen things corrected that should have been corrected. I've seen some things not corrected that I think should be, but that's you guys' job. So I'm almost out of here. I just want to correct a couple of more things before I do leave. Because I mean, nobody grows up and says I want to be the tax assessor collector. I don't even know what came upon me that day, but I can say I've loved it. I have loved it. I've enjoyed it. Now it's stressful sometimes. Yeah, I get that, but I really have enjoyed it. I've learned to love it. I've come to find out that you can teach an old dog new tricks. You can learn things. The smartest thing you can do, though, is to hire good people that learn even faster and better than you do, and that have good work ethics. And I've done that. I've truly done that. You always have to have the best and the not the best. And I can honestly say, out of my 10 or 11 employees that I have, I worry about a couple sometimes, but other than that, I don't. Didn't have a heart attack. I was out of here for 6 weeks. I called the office twice. They never called me once. I came back and it was just like I'd never been gone. I mean, that's pretty awesome, especially for what goes on in there. There are, like I said before, there's 2 things I want to get changed before I leave. And the first and most importantly is the pay schedule for my employees. The second one, I would like to hire Linebargers as my delinquent tax attorneys again, but I'll get to that later. It all comes together in the end. As values are down this year, I know that there's not excess funds out there available for non-essentials. However, I want you guys to realize that my office collects and remits a lot of dollars that supports the county, and the ladies do it very well. There's no problems with people getting their money. We do it. And I'm asking the court to let's correct this pay scale for these employees to what it should have been years ago when it started, because it's the right thing to do. It's not fair Life's not fair. I know that. But there's not a secretary in this county, unless you're a paralegal or a nurse, that should be making more money than my ladies. If my ladies don't do their job well, there is no money to pay these other people. My ladies work under the laws. We don't have rules. We don't have policy, county policy. We work by under laws. We work with tax laws. We work with DMV laws. We work with beer and liquor laws. We work with Texas Department of Housing and Community Affair laws. We work under the laws. You have to know what they are. You have to do things by the law to the best of your ability. We collect monies. If you look through some of these reports, in motor reg alone this year, for the first 6 months of the year, we brought in $12 million. Well, that's a lot of money. And that's 6 months. That's not taxes. That's not beer and liquor license. That's motor registration and title work. We have approximately 46,000. Is that the new census, Judge, in the county like that? 46.
I don't know, that's Billy.
Billy, is that about right?
46,529.
There you go. And so if you look at the numbers on there as well, you'll see that we've had 36,000 walk-ins on average for the last few years. So we are seeing the faces of most of the county. Therefore, they are seeing us as well. I know you get complaints because I closed the office. But do you get complaints that I went in there and I paid money and or they say that I paid money and that's not that's not right. They owe me money. You don't get complaints like that. Do you get complaints from the entity saying she's not giving us our money or our monies don't balance back to her? You don't get those kind of reports because we don't do that. We know this is not our money. We know that it's serious jail time if something is not done correctly. My ladies, for some reason, y'all, I'm blessed, have this work ethics. And maybe it's because Regina and I and Jill and I and Janice and I have beat into their heads. You don't balance, you don't go home. If we've all looked at it, and we are a team, if we've all looked at it, we can't find it, we lock it in the vault, we all get back early the next morning and we look again. We find it. Oh my God. We may have to dumpster dive, which we've done a time or two. We may have to go through underneath. We have found money in places we shouldn't find money, but it's because we get busy and you're doing walk-ins, you're answering the phone, you're doing the mail, your kid calls, come pick me up, you gotta leave for a minute. We do these things happen, but amazingly, thankfully, we find it. These ladies carry millions of dollars under their arms to go to the bank. Now that we're here at Anahuac National, again, thank you, Lord. I don't know how the rest of the county feels, but I like it being that close. Because it's convenient for us. Change. We need change every day. We need sometimes, and Jill was very anal Irish about this. If we got $50,000 in cash, she went and made a deposit. We're not keeping that in here. I said, Jill, it's safer in there than in your car going to the bank. But, that was just how she felt. So I love that. But it's nothing for one of us to go, we're going to go get breakfast. And we put, $10 million under our armpit, go to the bank, go get your breakfast, come back. It's nothing. Now, graciously, Brian Hawthorne says, we're a call away. And he has come through. When we were in Winnie, he would come pick up one of our ladies and make a deposit every day. Bless his heart. And I love that. During tax season again, if we have big bucks and we don't feel comfortable, we'll call Brian, he'll send somebody.
Oh, you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just really should be like
In
that
fact,
every
you should do it
time.
every time.
Yeah. We really should.
Okay.
It just becomes a habit, or we're gonna go pick up breakfast, or I need to run to the, but you hate to stop them as well, but safety comes first. Anyway.
Absolutely.
So these ladies have a lot of responsibility and accountability. We're not only audited inside and outside like the county is. We're audited by other state agencies, and I'm talking comptroller, Department of Motor Vehicles. Who else do we work with? We work with TABC. We're policed. We are policed all the time. These ladies know that they don't like to do things wrong. They don't like to have to say, Denise or Regina. But that's how we fix things. We get together, it can be fixed. And so they just have a lot of responsibility. Thank you so very much for my glass that's up. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. You can hear through it. We've made do. I feel better. The ladies feel better, especially with COVID. I'm so grateful to have it. That should have been in there 100 years ago, but it eventually got there. I think that the tax office is a better place than it used to be because you can pay your taxes online. You can use a credit card and a debit card now. Thank you. I cannot say this enough. Thank you for our new tax program that is teaching me this old dog new tricks I still do not know. It is amazing. It's very complicated, but it walks and it talks and it eats and it breathes taxes, and it's amazing. It really is. Therefore, you can't just hire anybody off the street, I have found, to come and work that program. It's just you got to know a little bit about taxes and a little bit about computer and a program, how they work. I lost an employee to another department last week. A 5-year employee at the tax office doing what she did, left my office, went to purchasing for $10,000 more. $10,000 more a year. Go work her first day in purchasing and make $10,000 more dollars. I think it's wrong. Anybody have an argument with that? So that I can give you why I think it's wrong. You think am I wrong in that? There's no reason why ordering supplies would be more important. The accountability, the responsibility would be more important, that you should make more money in that office, period. Nothing against commissioner secretaries. As a matter of fact, I just met yours on the email the other day. She seems really nice. And I love Lana, Lisa. Nothing, but is there any reason why they should make $47,000 a year when my people that are working in the tax office are making 33? Sir?
Mine doesn't make 47.
What does she make?
I think 42.
Oh, well, that's
Well, I think some of that's
Well, there's
merit raise. I mean, I
That's
think back during the time we was doing merit, you never turned anything for merit raise for your employees, did you?
Yeah, I did
I don't-
every year.
I don't remember a lot of it, I'm just saying. But
I
mean,
did
a lot of it-
every
a lot-
year.
a lot of
I
it-
got them every year, so I
A
was
lot of it was
grateful.
merit raise. I'm just saying, that helps your employees a lot.
Right, but you know why, Jimmy? Because you have one employee, babe. I
But
have,
it works on the pool, though, it wasn't just one employee. The commissioner secretary is working on pool.
Yeah, they were all put.
Oh, okay.
It's all rotated like that.
all right, well, I did every year. Mine wouldn't have gotten anything either. I did my merit every year. I hated the merit thing because, well, it was different, but I did do it every
Well,
year,
it's gone away, so
It's
it's
gone,
neither
yeah.
here nor there.
which I kind of hate that too. But anyway, it's a catch-22.
I know.
But my thing is, there's no reason. There's no reason. There's no rhyme or reason, I guess is what I'm saying, for that difference in salaries. You can't just say, well, Denise, it's always been that way, blah, blah, blah. No, it's time to make a wrong right.
Denise, how many employees do you have?
Not enough. I need 3 more. Right now I have 10,
We have 10
11,
plus
plus a part-time.
Yeah.
And what
10
was,
counting the one you
Actually,
just lost.
9. Actually, 9. I don't-
Well, yeah, but you got,
Yeah.
I have 9.
but you got budget for 10.
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Where's your part-time work, just from? all-
Anahuac. Yeah.
How many employees do you have in Anahuac?
Alicia and Regina and Lily and Jolynn, 4, and a
Plus-
part-timer.
plus y'all.
No, that's Regina, Alicia, Lily, Jolynn is 4, and then Aaliyah's my
So
part-timer.
you got 4.5.
And then I have 3 in Mont Bellevue and 2 in Winnie.
And you're wanting to add some in.
I need,
You
I
said
need-
3, but I'm gonna see
Yes.
two on your request.
yeah, well, I'm fixing to hire another one though. That's where I was getting the 3rd.
Okay.
And I'm budgeted for that.
So what's the pay spread on those? I mean, what are the salaries?
What
Are they
the-
all in the mid thirties, upper thirties, or?
Low, but I have, that's not in here.
I think you've got like 2 that are in the low 30s, like in the
Yeah.
33s. And
No, I have
then,
Katie
Katie and Megan.
and Megan.
yeah, those 2 are in the low 30s.
Can you print that in?
Uh,
Please?
yes.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I
Yeah,
had.
they're in
that
the
here.
third, they're in the 30s.
What's their years of service, do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Virginia's been there 10 or 12 years. Alicia's been there 21.
Does that show that in there?
That's what I'm saying.
Right, here.
Those are not making in the 30s, so.
No.
Okay, I want, the ones that.
Well, yes, Virginia's making in the 30s. Marissa's been there 5.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, is what's their time of service compared to their pay? And
Jimmy,
what
that
they-
doesn't matter, really.
What they came in at to what they're at right now is what I'm looking
Right,
at.
right. But
Because
they don't, even if they've only been there a year, no one should walk into that tax office. Nobody should walk into that tax office the first day and make less than $45,000 when
go-
you've got people doing it
when you-
at other offices.
When you go to hire, who sets that pay? You,
No, it's not, I don't have the budget for it.
that's what I'm saying, but when you hire someone and you look at their job description, you work with HR and you set a pay
No,
scale.
sir, you do not. No, you do not. I've been here 35 years.
That's what
Let me,
I'm-
let
I'm
me
just-
tell you, let me tell you how this works. About 20 years ago, how long you been here, Jimmy?
30, nearly.
Okay,
20, well, judge, 21.
no, so it's been
24.
longer than that,
24 is good.
100 years
You don't
ago.
even remember.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
100 years ago, me and, maybe Sue Holloman, so that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
There was some bunch of us that got together and decided that we were gonna get somebody to go to commissioner's court for us, because I was a peon, I knew I wasn't gonna get nowhere. And we got together to do a pay scale of these people who, because people were getting hired in, making buttloads of money, sitting in an office in a building by themselves and never seeing people. And those of us that actually worked for a living were making $5.69 an hour. And so we said, well, you know what, we need to fix this. We went to other counties, we went to other businesses, we put all this stuff together. It was pretty neat. I was pretty proud of us. We brought it to the core and it sat there for a long, long time. And then finally, everybody kind of got on a roll and they decided to hire Reagan Associates.
I was a commissioner then.
Yeah, biggest joke ever.
Better than nothing now. And what we
Well,
had
for
at the
some
time,
people, Jimmy, but it
what we
wasn't.
had
for-
at the time was nothing.
Well, then it was, and that's why we did what we did to get y'all to do it. But then the tax office was still kicked to the curb. And I never have understood that. There's no justification for why a tax office clerk, whether she's called a clerk or a tax specialist, should have been on as low a pay scale as they were and as they have been for the 20 to 30 to 40 years that the tax office has been open. So no, Jimmy, we never, ever got a chance.
And can you do the same thing for, say, the county clerk's office and?
That's not in here.
Yeah, what I'd like to see is how this compares to some other offices.
So
I
county clerk
thought
and-
she did that.
District clerk.
Purchasing,
Yeah.
I don't know, just, you know,
Yeah, sure.
Can you show what they started on?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can, that might save me a little.
I understand. I just want to see what.
Yeah, and anyhow, I mean, we can work on this. It doesn't have to be exactly right now. I do want to see the comparison,
Yes, I can. do that.
what they look like.
She did that and highlighted all that, not very good.
Well, if she did,
Oh,
somebody
there's
needs
one.
to tell us where it is.
Okay, here it is. It's got these little clippy things on it. Little little thingies on it. What is that? Tapes.
Well, I'm glad Tommy's not here. I wouldn't have enough room.
He's probably listening.
Sir,
Better be
this
careful.
was your, hey, sir, this was your idea. remember?
Okay, where are we looking?
Like,
I
they
think
have
it's this
little,
one.
little
this
tabs
one.
like this. Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
And then
that's it.
these are some highlighted ones. But yeah, you might can put it better together.
It's, it's employees and
That's not just all your employees,
No, 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 no.
but it's not, I don't think it's broke out by.
And she highlighted, are y'all's not highlighted?
Is it this sheet right here?
That's,
That's one of them,
Yes.
showing you different people that, like, commissioner secretaries or just secretary too.
it's this one, Billy. He's
Yeah,
got this on front of us.
look,
That one. Then you turn to open page and on the page.
she just hired on.
it's not broken out by department, it's just, combined.
Just, that's it.
So I sent y'all a spread, it's a pretty big, it's my payroll worksheet, and it's got everyone's salaries, their titles, so, and user service. So I just emailed to you, we can look through it if you guys want to. And it's got also, kind of their histories on there too. And we can walk through it if you want to, kind of understand a little better.
Okay, anyway, Jimmy, back to you. No, we've never gotten to get together with HR and decide anything. It was always on a schedule. So you had to go with that. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, since I've been in office, well, actually, since I guess Margie's been in office, we have increased one person in our office in 20-something years, 20, 30 years, whatever. But other than that, with the population almost doubled, 2/3 of it on the west side, I still just have 3 people over there. It's crazy, but thankfully I'm getting a new office and hopefully another person. But I just want you to understand that the accountability is incredible. Their responsibility it's enormous. They have to be teachable, they have to be diverse, they gotta be multitasked. They have to be serious about what they do. They have to handle stress and extreme pressure because nobody wants to come to the tax office. You're paying money. I mean, it's not always a fun thing. We try to, we can hand out lollipops and stuff, I guess, but I'm telling y'all, and I promise you this is true, I get more compliments than I do complaints. I get complaints. Not only do I get complaints, I get to go down there and, the sheriff's department came in the other day.
Okay, I gotta interrupt you because I got probate courts. I gotta step out. Commissioner Gore's in charge for the record.
Okay. We have to call the sheriff's department over. And because he wanted something that he couldn't have, and they think that if they argue with you enough, they're gonna get it anyway. We're like, but the law says, and so they do, they have to handle a lot. Regina, she had finally got enough. She got the sheriff's department. Now I'm out there talking to you.
Best thing that they get code.
Yeah. But I'm stupid, Jimmy, you know me, and I think I'm just as big as Dinkle. I'm mad, and I really wasn't mad. I was just telling him.
The society we live in.
It is crazy.
That's the reason I'm glad we got that glasses.
Yes. Oh, my God. I every time I look, and we get a lot of compliments on it, actually.
And I'll be glad you get your drive-through.
Which drive-through?
Drive-through.
Oh, it's a new one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I got a drive-through.
No,
Yes, that's gonna be great. That's really great for those that are sick, the elderly, the
Or just convenient.
Just everybody.
Convenient. Yes.
Just convenient.
There's
It's called
gonna-
2021.
Yes, it is.
Well, did you put a scale in here, a step scale on how you want these salaries to be adjusted?
No, I'm working on that with the, thing that we're putting out, the organizational thing.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
trying to put all that together, and then I'm going to.
Okay.
Yes.
When do you
Yes.
think you might have that? Or were you-
I'm gonna start on it today. Well, it won't be today because I've got to go to Winnie after that. Well, maybe this afternoon.
Okay. When
It shouldn't be too hard. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get Miss Thing over here to do it for me
do we finalize?
September 20, the end of September,
in September.
the last quarter of September.
I will get that to you, promise.
Yeah, we're gonna start zeroing in sooner than that.
Yeah, we got.
Okay, yeah, I will get
Yeah,
it
I
to
mean, the
you.
sooner the better, really.
Okay.
How many of them on here? I mean, we got eight on here, and then the open spot.
Should, well, 9.
Yeah, 9 with the open one.
No, it's 10, it should be 10, if you count,
Yeah,
yeah.
see, I've only got two.
Ten.
If you count Patty.
All of those are in their thirties.
So there, yeah.
Virginia's been here 16 years. Check them numbers. She's been here 16 years.
starting
And in office almost 12. Oh my Lord. It's time for me to go home.
Okay,
Wow.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean.
Right, I get it. But anyway, I think y'all know how I feel, and I appreciate y'all for listening. All I'm saying is, please think about this. It's like, I was telling Billy and them the other day, it's not a fair thing, it's a right thing to do. Please, if you need to, come to my office on a Friday, in Mont Bellevue, do taxes.
and I think Aaron, what he'll need on this here, you want me to show the step and where you want to go with them. You want a 5-year history on it, so we can look at that too, on what they've done.
Yes.
5-year history of what?
Of their pay, where they started, what pay raises they received. in
Okay.
5
You-
years.
Who has that?
Keely.
Who?
Keely,
Okay,
HR.
okay,
Okay, so
Okay.
you'll get what step you want, where they at right now, what
Okay.
step you want to send them to,
Okay.
and their 5-year history on their pay.
I can do
What
that.
it sounds like to me is maybe the starting scales may be
And maybe all-
where it's going on.
I think.
Yeah, it is. We were put into the pay schedule of 13. They should have been 17s or 19s.
Yeah.
And they weren't, and I.
But
fought
that's
that
always
with
so
that.
hard to adjust.
It
you know,
is,
'cause
Billy.
once something started,
I
then
agree. Oh, and I wanted to tell you this. And I told Billy this, every April-ish. April, I get from the comptroller's office in Austin a commission check for sales tax. So for every title that we do, we get a percentage. It's now running around $300,000. I could use that for my salaries because I have to give it to the general fund. It just goes into the general fund. Okay, I'm just giving ideas. Let's, you tag that and let me use some, and you'd still get some back. But just to give you an idea, Angel Brothers sold out. Did you know that? And Texas Military, Texas Materials doing business as Gulf Coast, whatever, has bought their business and everything with that. And so that we had to meet with them the other day because they want us to process 800 titles. I have 10 employees. And we have the county to do. So they came in and we discussed it and I said, look, we'll try it. I'm willing to work with you. I mean, we're gonna get the sales tax money from it. With the understanding that the county comes first, my people come first.
in a case like that, could you utilize like HEB to help take a portion of those?
No, they do only registration and only if you have your paperwork. I mean, that's all they do is registration. And that's what they wanted us to do, was to take 2 people from another office, put them in Mont Bellevue, which I don't have room for, to help with this. I was like, you don't understand. This isn't Harris County. This is Chambers and only has so many people. So Regina and Alicia have been working on them. I'm fixing to take some to Winnie, and let Katie work on them when she's down. And we're gonna try to get 800 done. If we can't, then they'll send the other half to another county where
So how long would that take? I mean, how long does it take a title to take? I don't know.
I think they've got about 200 done and they.
We got close to 300 days.
Oh, do
Oh, wow.
you? And it, y'all started
Well, we've
last.
got Williams, he brought in today.
Been about a week.
We're hoping another week and a half. It's got to be done by August 31st. Where are they? Oh, those are the lost ones in the, oh, yeah. So we're trying to do with it, but just under, you know, that's what I'm saying. You never know. Enterprise came in one year and had 1,000 titles. Now, this was way back in the day when we were here, and Jill had just hired on, and she sat there 8 hours a day and did nothing but titles. But she was new. She needed to know how to process the title. God knew she knew after that. But now I just don't have that ability to do things like that. It has to really be structured and timed because I'm shorthanded. I'm fixing to post the job, Cammie's job today. I need another Anahuac person. Alicia, now with Motor Reg, with what she's doing with mail-ins, internet, and FedEx, you know, we get dealers, when people buy vehicles from out of town, they all come to the main office. She's doing almost 2/3 the amount of titles that Anahuac is, and Mont Bellevue is. Mont Bellevue's doing 200 a month, on a regular month maybe, and so she's doing like 150 almost percent, and then I just have got to have another motor reg person over here. Well, they have to be multi-trained because you just do taxes as well. So the county's growing and I know we don't have the budget for it and I need 4 people. I've got a budget for 1. I'm asking for 2 over there and I need another one here. It's just something's got to give. This, y'all all know that I had to close down on Wednesdays for a while. We couldn't catch up. We could not wait on the customers and do everything that we had coming in because people were out with COVID. So I didn't have the staff again. Well, once again, I've had Lily out with a baby. I've had people out because their kids were with COVID. People are trying to get their kids back to college, finishing vacation. I have been so short-staffed, I'm actually having to work. I'm happy about it. I'm gonna earn my paycheck and I'm not happy about it. Anyway, I'm supposed to have people. Anyway, which is good practice for me, don't get me wrong, but it's gonna come to the point where I don't know. I mean, what do you do? Turn people away? I mean, or you just wait on the people and then you let that other stuff stack up and you pay overtime or you.
Is there a possibility of doing something with a grocer in Winnie like you did with HEB in Mont Bellevue?
I don't think Market Basket does. I don't really need it in Winnie. I really don't. Those ladies, they're pretty good. And they don't have the numbers. That's why I'm taking some of these titles to them because they have more downtime.
Yeah.
And they can get in there and get it done. So
I don't think there's anybody up here that doubts the business that goes through your tax office
right.
or the quality that's turned out. I don't think that's an issue, but it's like when we met, I know from my standpoint, what you give me right here, this one thing I asked you for.
Mhm.
And another thing that I need to know is from other counties, how do the clerks from different departments stack up compared to what we're doing? I mean, you know, are we looking at something, are we really under on one department versus, you know, what we're paying another department?
Oh, in the county, we are. In other counties, the tax offices aren't paid very well in all of those either. In other counties, they are the highest paid offices. It's just different. It's just however the court sees it.
I get it, and
Yeah.
I know y'all stay busy, because
Yeah.
I've never been up there to get anything done when I didn't have to wait in line. It's
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah, it's the way of the world. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any, what else you want to go over, Denise?
Really just that. Okay, and I do want to ask one thing too. I'm gonna get a new office building and everything. And so to, furnish it, do I ask for money for furnishings? Is that part of the building? I didn't know how that worked. That's why I put it on my budget thing.
That'd be part of the FF&E on that. I mean, whenever that building is budgeted, I don't know what the schedule is on that building.
Oh, so it would be like the year you knew it was being built, they would put extra in there when it needed to be furnished.
Yeah, we try to plan for some kind of FF&E.
I mean, but I don't have to do that is what I'm asking.
No,
Okay. Oh, another thing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Nothing, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that Linebarger even called me and said that they would cut my tax program in half. I think I pay 55 a year for it. 50 a year for it, maybe. I think it's 50 a year. And they would take $25,000 off if we would consider hiring them back again, which is who I've wanted all along, who I work the best with, who I've had the best relationship with. Anyway, so keep in mind that
And Bud's been here today.
I should have took a bath or something this morning. It's a man, I see it. You know, they've offered money. I know that the sales tax commission that we get every year that I surrender to y'all goes to the general fund, but I'm just saying it could be earmarked as salaries for the tax office because you never know how much it's gonna be. It's just a nice little nest egg that comes in. I want to help y'all help us. I think these ladies deserve it.
I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah.
I don't what.
And I know that it's a miracle, you know, it's not,
This is,
Yeah.
last year, we didn't even have budget. We had to-
right, exactly, that's why I said, thanks for, and let me get the budget this year.
This year here is just, I mean, we're down and we're having to make hard decisions on which way we're gonna go on stuff.
And Aaron, it's been nice
personnel,
you working with us, but we have to let you go.
And everything. So, but,
Right, and I get it, and I understand that, and I know y'all have a hard job, and I wouldn't wanna be sitting up there making that decision either, but if y'all need help making some decisions.
Just don't,
Y'all got-
yeah, don't think this is going to deaf ears, Denise. We get
Okay,
it. We
I
get it.
appreciate
mean,
that, that's what I wanna hear. My
I'm
heart
like
needs to
Billy.
know that you're
I've
listening.
never been up there that, the service is impeccable.
Thank you.
Number one, the service is impeccable.
And we all have our.
And
bad
generally, I'm in
days.
a decent conversation while I'm in line, so it doesn't seem like I'm in there that long.
Good.
And then there's times you walk in and it's like the perfect storm and nobody's there.
I know,
Yeah.
and they're all doing this, trying to fill in titles
Yeah.
while they're,
Yeah.
or count money.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
They have
That's
a
right,
method.
that's
There's a
right.
method to their madness.
you have this open spot, okay, you're talking about salaries for employees.
Yeah,
Is there an employee that you have that has earned it, that can move to that salary, and then you bring in someone with less experience and their starting salary? I mean,
Yeah.
that's something to think about, right?
Right.
I mean, if you want to do that, I mean,
yeah. I'm bumping Jolene up to Cammy's.
okay.
She's
so
my SIT specialist anyway. God knows she needs more.
You bump it up?
Jolene Muniz is bumping up to Cammy
Okay.
Ford's.
So you're going to, wherever you bring in that person, they'll come in at her salary.
No, because I have people making less.
That's what I'm saying. Or you gonna bump some people up and start your new person at?
Can I do that?
You've got two making less than her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can you adjust?
Three, right?
Aaron, I mean, can't you do that?
Yeah, I mean, if you say in the budget.
Two, right,
If you
Billy?
stay-
Yeah,
If I
how
stay-
you distribute amongst your budget is up to you.
That's up to you. If you move those people up to those higher positions and bring in one at a lower and start them at your lowest salary, I think
Okay.
as long as you stay within your budget, I think you
Okay.
can do that.
Good, I will.
Budget officer right there.
Yeah, because you've got two in here at 33.8.
Right, right,
And one started in 2019, one started in 2020, so they're
right.
fairly new there, but definitely can move those up.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but that's a suggestion. if
And you
want
can,
to do that.
can you split it like you want? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Okay, say you have $3,000. Can you give them both 15 or can you give one 800 and one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think,
I think we've kind of just generally discouraged that.
Because you want to stay on the schedule.
Because
Okay.
you have you might have departments that have. Generally, they do, usually budget what they need. And
Right,
of course, someone might retire and then they try to distribute that money to the other people. And
right.
of course, that's up to the court, elected officials are a little more different. So they
Right.
got some little different control, but it's up to
But try to keep it
yeah.
where it's close to the pay. What I did the last time that I was looking at this, is I took the pay schedule
Mhm.
to try to keep it that way, so it didn't knock them off where we're,
Keep
when
on
they moved
scale.
up to it, yeah, I didn't want them to gain, say, oh, you're going up to another step, and they got $10.
Yeah.
Somebody else got $100 a month, they got 10. Okay,
So anyway, I mean, that's
That's
an
a good
option right
idea.
there to do that, okay?
yeah, I should have done that.
Mr. Combs, you had something else to say? Or-
Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all.
I'm just trying to
Y'all-
sort through
Y'all have
this.
given me, hope,
So,
You should have.
something that I haven't had in a lot of years, and I appreciate that from y'all.
Should
You
have.
don't know. Thank
we
y'all.
appreciate the job, don't do it.
Oh, thank y'all.
Thank you,
That means a
Denise.
lot. That really
When did you get
does.
your ice cream yesterday?
Dude, don't you know? Let me tell you
Oh,
what.
it wasn't yesterday, it was Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. No, God, it was so
I
full.
didn't know those little cups were for icing.
What little cups? I didn't get
Those
them.
little cups, don't, when you're.
I didn't know there were.
She came up and-
For that.
She did. She came up and asked me that I want ice cream. I went to Derek and picked my grandsons up yesterday. They go to school here. And I got to y'all. Okay, oh, wait.
Yeah,
We're still
Denise, hang
live.
on.
Oh,
Denise.
turn on.
Let's take, it is, get my glasses back on. It is 10:18. And we're gonna take a 10-minute break. Matter of fact, we'll just come back at 10:30.
Wait,
Yeah.
no. Just top 26.
Okay.
Okay, regular session of Commissioner Court budget hearing is back in session after a short break. For the record, Judge Sylvia and Commissioner Hammond are not here. We are going to discuss stuff with Aaron, our budget officer.
They only killed a bunch of trees this year.
Yes, sir.
Bill, you don't want to see my office, you know why?
Huh?
It looks like Rusty's. I'm a print guy, I'm a holder.
Rusty was a paper guy. He is a paper.
All right, Billy, when you say you were giggling with me on the computer over there, Amanda print that. And she gets the file. Are you with me?
Okay, what is this here, Aaron?
Yeah, so this is just kind of a summary that I'm gonna put together for court on Tuesday, and just to kind of for reference. It's not done yet. There's some pieces missing, but so on the, you flip the page, second page, that's certified value. You can see the difference between 2021. You can see that we have a loss of 515 million. The little pie chart here is the split between industry and local. So you're at 35-65 split between those two.
You know, it's very first year. Well, no, back in 2013, it dropped slightly, but
Right, yeah, so you also have a graph here that shows appraised values from 2010 all the way to 2021. As I broke it out by the different types, so you got the total is the orange, The gray is industry, and the yellow is your local. And you can see, yes, so 2030, there's a little bit there. 2016, there's a little bit. Yeah, court.
They sent us upstairs and they see us.
That work. Yeah, so your survey values, second page is your tax rates. We got those in. So our current tax rate for 2020 is 0.539449. We get the tax rates in, so the new effective tax rate, which has been in and out and no new revenue,
Right.
is 0.60. The VAR is voter approval rate, so that's your 3.5%. Is 0.62. So since we said we planned on not going up on the tax rate, go ahead and propose the tax rate at the current one, which is 0.53949. So that's on the left, you can see, the different rates and at a 9% collection rate with the new values from road to the general fund, looking at a decrease in $3.4 million in taxes. But down a little bit more, I see the INS went up.
Wait a minute, let me see where you were just in.
I'll roll to the left,
All to the left,
right there by that dotted line that goes down to the middle.
Okay,
yeah, that first little.
okay, we're down almost 3 million, okay.
Yes, sir. So we're down 3 million in the road and general funds. Our INS went up 2.4 because we did issue some more debt, so that's to cover that. We also have the school equalization tax. So it was 0.04. Because now with the school equalization, how they figured it out, they're using a different certified value, using the higher value for the county. So I lowered it to 0.02, so that gets them to about a little bit more than they would have got last year. So they're basically getting tamed out for next year. So that's how
So what happened is they're not being abated, so we're taking that revenue that's not abated and taking it off of the rate.
yeah. So they're still gonna get their $5 million. So that exchange for them on the rate.
Okay.
And then the middle, that's the no new revenue scenario. And then the far right's it says NNR rate, but that's the voter approval rate on the far right. And then the next page, that's just our debt. We have $121 million in debt, paid $9.1 million. This basically the schedule. So the blue bars, how much is that we have? The green line is how much we're gonna pay. So you can see in 24 drops. Well, in 24 drops dramatically, about 6 million. From 9 to 6. And we'll pay off everything if we don't issue anything in 2051. And then on page 5, this is a revenue summary for the general fund, road and bridge, enterprise funds. So the enterprise funds are airport, golf, solid waste, and then school equalization tax. So we're collecting $69 million. And then this is percentages of how it all fits. So 74% comes from taxes, 15% comes from the 381 payments. And then everything's pretty small percentages on here.
So 90% comes from 381 in taxes, we got 10% from other.
Yes, sir.
When did 381s end?
They
End of 2022?
they're not ending. The schedule I've got is up to 2023, but it still goes up further. And then the more
Okay.
maintenance you do, the more you have 3-1 payments. So it just continues. Hopefully. So that's on page 5. It's on page 6. That's just the general fund breakout of revenue summaries. And then on page 7 is your road and bridge revenue summary. How that's split between everything. Page 8 is gonna be your expense summary, but I don't have that just yet. So page 9 is your capital. So that's like all the requested capital, and if you see like an X mark or like a little line through it, then you just cut it out of the budget,
So that means it's getting either cut out of the budget or it's getting paid by,
something else, right? So like the towers can pay out of the art money.
Okay, when are we gonna, look at that list of the rescue funds? And set a deal on that?
I know y'all tabled it, and I think they were gonna.
Sam says she's gonna have it back for next quarter.
Okay, the next quarter. I haven't really heard anything about it, so.
Okay, I mean, I know Commissioner Hammond was on there, and they were putting the priority together on that list. I mean, with him being out, unless she's zooming with him, what are we, I know we had some real concerns on the sheriff's office there. I'd like to see where we're moving that around.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to be involved in getting that moved around, because quite frankly, I'm opposed to putting anything from any other entity ahead of what we've got for ourselves, for our own budget,
I agree.
such as for our sheriff's
I mean,
departments.
I agree. I mean, we have Samantha available. I mean, she could run over here. We can discuss it
Yeah,
real quick. I mean, if y'all would like, Commissioner.
Or she can speakerphone.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's.
and she may not be ready for it yet.
Yeah, and I mean, we need to know what's on that list and what we want to move around and what we're gonna take on, because we really need to, that fund really needs to help us offset our budget.
And I think it will.
So I don't
But we were trying to get, the big ticket item was trying to do something for the temporary jail system that we're trying to get.
And from what I understood, and I could be wrong, Aaron, correct me, anything we do for that jail, from, either we're gonna have to purchase it outright, or from these funds, I think you have to rent it. I'd like clarification on that.
I heard that was the opposite way, or I thought that was the opposite way. That
So I
it
know
wouldn't handle rent, it need to be a purchase.
on FEMA funds, it's lease. Art
Lease.
funds, I'm not sure. I just text her. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the landfill deal, I mean, I know that was on the list
Yeah.
for,
Mhm.
the American
Art.
Rescue Fund.
Yes, sir.
Um,
I know Heather had mentioned that she's got the election equipment upgrades covered through a grant, right?
yes, I thought we'd already
She
done
said.
that through court last
Okay,
quarter, 2 quarters ago, didn't we address that?
yeah, I think she mentioned that. I don't know if it went through quartering thing. When you go down, I cut the mobile command center from emergency management, that was 1.2 million.
Okay, I see rebuild the greens. Okay.
Rebuild greens, I just got that right now, 1.3 million.
Down here, I see you took out the grade off.
I took the grade all out.
I mean, we really need to, and just so the other commissioners know, as we are in here discussing budget, I met with Joe the other day, and we looked at some stuff that we had done road repairs, and then we done some repairs at the airport in Winnie, and it's falling apart. Okay, some of our roads that we've already worked up, and we're waiting to chip seal, we're either using the wrong material or something that's not very, because after a week or two, it's getting potholes and it's falling apart. I spoke with Joe and Rabbit, and I suggested that he get with the foremen in each one of y'all's areas and then meet with y'all, so he can get a list of stuff together, what he sees needs to be done and y'all see need to be done, to present to the new guy when he comes in on September 1st. So hopefully Joe will be getting with y'all, because like in Winnie, I know we're short 3 people. And I know we were broke down yesterday on equipment.
We were too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I mean, we need to
Got
address.
30 feet.
Well, I
down
stopped by there this morning, they were trying to start doing a little bit of ditch work, but they don't have a spotter.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, we need to look at some of that, and we need to address that. So Joe is supposed to reach out with y'all and sit down with y'all so we can discuss it, so we can have a plan going forward when Brian Dodge comes in.
He's still coming in September 1st?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So anyway, I just want to.
Give me his phone number. right?
Yeah.
Text it to me.
Heather, we're talking
But
about.
the airport, I'm sorry,
Send it to me too, Aaron.
the airport Winnie, the asphalt there, we didn't do that. That was a contract.
No, this is an approach that we did approach into it, a piece of road.
Okay,
And I mean, we just did it and it's already falling apart. I had him take pictures and document all that. And it's the material and what we're using. So, Heather, what did y'all wind up doing on the election equipment?
So the decision hasn't been made yet by the Secretary of State's office until after September 1st. We can't do anything. We're just in limbo right now on it. Do I believe that we're gonna get money? Yes. They're waiting for the feds.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that September 1 wait and see.
Okay, so you thinking you're gonna have funds coming to pay for that?
Yes,
Okay. Okay, I'm just like I say, the road and bridge stuff.
I mean, it's a mandate, but it won't be unfunded. hopefully.
Like I say, the road and bridge stuff, I think we all need to meet with Joe. I think we all need to look at our areas.
I've given him my list.
Get everything together with him, let him look at the equipment and see what he thinks we need, so he can present it to Brian when he comes in.
Yeah, so, yeah, the capital, parks, swimming pool and park, move that to host and motel, so that's still covered. Next page is still capital. You can see I took out the cell, I put ARP. So we got about $7 million for the capital expenditures for next year. Next page, those are the new personnel requests and kind of what that said in it. And you can see new employees plus benefits, and it's gonna cost about $867,000. 11 employees.
Okay, did you have what we're taking out of 091? You have that separated out? Or what we're taking out of the hot funds? Because I know the judge had mentioned to Commissioner Combs about doing 150 over every one of his parks.
Yeah, so I did put in some money for hot funds. I was working on this morning. I had just put the splash pad in there with the 150 donation from AMDD. And to balance it out, I had about, I don't have it in here
I understand.
next time.
Yes, sir.
do you have a hot funds budget
I do, yes, sir.
It's not on here.
as well as, I know, and also we have one for the, well, I know you do, for the health services too.
I do, and it's gonna be broken in here, right, on the Tuesday. But I had about. I had about $117,000 wasn't allocated for a particular thing, so that was gonna be for, I put that in parks. If that's gonna be, for whichever part.
For the hot
Flat
funds.
funds.
Yeah, hot funds, not splash pads in the park. I designated 150, well, 300 for the splash
Yeah.
pad with 150 coming in. And then I have another 117 that's not allocated for any specific parts.
I know Commissioner Combs had an area that he was wanting to utilize those funds over there, so we can do that.
Yeah. Let me see.
Anything you want to go over, either Commissioner?
I'm still sorting through it, but
Yeah, me, I'm gonna start back over, flipping back through it.
yeah.
Miss Heather, how's everything going with you?
Good morning, fine, thank you.
You sound kind of hoarse.
Allergy, Southeast Texas weather.
I completely understand.
Well, did he say he totally pulled road and bridge out of here?
On the,
Expense side.
no, on page 9. Bottom right-hand corner,
Oh. Okay, it's right in front of me,
right in front of you.
yeah.
So does that make sense?
It does. We were looking over the road and bridge, capital.
Man, I'd really like to talk to Brian.
Sorry.
Huh?
What'd you
I'd
think?
really like to talk to Brian about this. We'll have a chance.
We will. I mean, before we set the budget, I think we all need to express everything to them. And then
Yeah, the next page will have like the, how much in salary adjustments, across the board raises and all that stuff, and then I have health service fund broken out and the hot fund all broken out for y'all. But just kind of talking again, you know, I'm about $2.4 million short at the moment with everything going on. So hopefully we'll go through it again and come up with different ideas about it, covering kind of,
Does EMS not come out of, service?
so it, yes and no. So there's a special fund for EMS. It's 092. So they do get some revenue coming in. So whatever that revenue can support, we'll do a transfer from the 091 fund of services.
I've done that too.
To 092. Yes, sir.
So what about the ambulances?
Yeah, I haven't talked to, since y'all approved some stuff for EMS, I haven't really talked to Ron about what now he doesn't need or doesn't.
I
you know.
talked to Ron
So I'm
about
sure it's
that.
gonna be cut.
It is, the
Yeah.
ambulances and everything will be taken out of his budget request.
In technology, you've got a vehicle in here, but what about the additional software and stuff that they had? Where does that show up?
So I didn't put it in capital. Put it under their contractual.
While you're thinking of that, Aaron, where are we budgeting our design or whatever we gonna need to get to election for, if we go to a bond election, where are we budgeting that at?
I think there's already a code for the Justice Center, and so I'll probably budget that out of either Commissioner's Court or non-departmental, and just to kind of keep track of everything.
Okay. How much are we thinking?
I talked to them yesterday. They mentioned since we pretty much got everything that we need really
Okay.
for it, they said maybe an extra $15,000 or so. Depending on what y'all's plan is, if it's gonna be in May or November, or just kind of when y'all are, when we get the 10-year plan and, you know. figure
Well,
out-
Heather, I think you said we have time to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think we really need to do a educational campaign
Without a doubt,
and some budget, some money for some literature for that.
we do. We need.
HOK should be
Some
involved.
mailings and stuff.
HOK should be involved with that.
Well, yeah, well. Is it okay? Yeah, they should be, yeah.
Mhm.
I think there are some different rules, I think, between, you know, what we could say and do.
No, that's why it's educational stuff. It's really what it is.
That's all it
Just put
is.
out factual information.
And we're gonna have a town hall. We're gonna have to really, not us, because I don't think we can do it as a court. And once it go to bond, the court cannot promote.
Yeah, there's some rules there.
There's
I'm
some
sure
rules there, so I mean, but, I think.
And we can answer questions.
We can answer questions.
Right.
But we have to stay neutral.
No, we have to
You have to just be,
answer
you
factual questions.
have to be informative.
That's exactly right. And I think, we need to get our timelines together. We're gonna spoke with Ms. Hawthorne about May. And we need to actually, and I know we pitched down around ideals, what needs to go on this bond election. I think we need to make that, and we need to make that known, what we're putting on here. And we need to get a,
There's the judge.
We got a bond for document, make sure nobody's in here for it. So, don't see anybody.
no,
My
sure.
peeps.
I think we need to, also promote that. I mean, if Commissioner Combs, I know we want the Justice Center. We need a.
Jail.
We need, yeah, the Justice Center's jail in the courthouse, and we need a community building over in your area desperately. We need, if we're gonna do the, tax office on this same thing, what we can do on that tax office, we can budget that, and then whatever percent of that comes out of 091, we can pay that out of there. And then we wanted, let's see here, we wanted Justice Center, and probably the library and anyway, because we're gonna have.
Well,
to
yeah, I
put
think
in-
we need to sit down and do.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we
You know,
can-
prioritize. I mean, today we don't.
no, I'm just, I'd like to get us a rough list going forward on what we're thinking about, so we can have a mindset of how much this bond's gonna actually be.
Yeah, and that's going to affect this graph that,
Yeah, that long-term debt payment.
long-term debt, and I think this is really good because we see it dropping drastically in 23 to 24.
And so
And if
we-
we can get it scheduled to where this bond picks up in that, it just kind of level out.
And, I mean, we don't have to sell all the bonds at one time.
Right.
So, I mean, but I mean, that is a list that I had in my head, and I mean, it could be completely wrong.
No, I agree with you, Commissioner. That's,
painfully close. The core deal is the jail and the Justice Center.
I totally agree.
and well,
And the
yeah,
community
community
building.
building with, for elections too. So
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, it
Yeah.
does not have to be a tilt one, I don't think.
it's like voting right now. Billy can tell you in that JP courtroom, in Larry's courtroom, it's like trying to vote in this room. You have to walk, I mean.
It
It's set up
is.
now to be a courtroom.
And not to mention, we do not have a community building in that area. And it's one of the most populous areas that we have in the whole county.
I
We don't
agree.
even have a community building.
It's just, and in fact, we can rectify that with this here.
Yeah. No, and we need to.
And actually, I think with moving the Justice Center jail and everything through here, we'll have to build another library, so we need to look at that.
We have spent,
Yeah, when we build the jail and the Justice Center, it's gonna go right through there.
but you know, we spent a lot of money out of the general fund over the last couple of years making do with office space that would not have been necessary had we moved forward with the Justice Center. You know,
I totally agree. We have a portable city. I think we'll be able to sell those for whatever amount it is, but anyway. But when are we gonna hire, what? To do our senior.
You should put in a plan, well, it's-
Next 40% this plan.
I think that's gonna help it out then. Okay,
So I will work on that timeline, on the May timeline.
Okay.
on Dates for you to know. This has
Yep,
to be
critical
done by-
dates.
That's it.
okay, and then what we need.
And then,
Yeah,
right, if
Yeah.
it doesn't, if we don't feel we have the time to present this,
Well, what we don't want to do is
Rush
rush it through.
We do not.
That's the last thing we want to do is feel like it's getting crammed down and rushed through. But
we want-
personally, I think, you know, by May, that's 6, oh man,
Do 9 months.
9 months. Yeah, we've got plenty of time.
I'm just
Should be
saying,
right.
you'd hate to miss out on some of the cheap rates on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Hope we don't
Low
know what the
rate.
future's been high,
Low rate, Joe.
low rates.
free money.
So, I mean, anyway, but we also need to look at and be as diligent as we can about the tax rate also. But we need to get off dead center and quit kicking the can and get on with it. Okay.
So I'm the software commissioner, I have about $168,000 worth of software. So that's cybersecurity, that's agenda software, that's agenda subscriptions, all that stuff, SO, access controls, and then some of those.
Sure, here back from Samantha.
Yes, she's over here.
The agenda. Software is in there.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. We do the agenda like we did it in 1955. We just step up our game.
Anybody have anything else? Oh, there's Miss Samantha.
Hello, Samantha.
You can come in and sit at the table or whatever you want to do. We're just wanting to discuss your list,
My what?
your list of American Rescue
Oh,
Funds.
sure. I'm right here.
Cool. You have a copy? Can we get a copy,
Please.
please?
Now, that does not include the jail project yet. I don't have numbers on it. And then, the numbers, it's not in there just yet. Yes.
And I'm not sure I'm gonna need.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
Okay, we were discussing earlier, and Commissioner Combs and I was discussing that, those American Rescue Funds can, on the jail stuff, does that have to be a rent, a lease, or does that have to be a purchase?
And from my understanding, it has to be a lease.
A lease, okay. I had it backward. I was thinking, I heard it had to be a purchase.
No, sir, it has to be a lease.
Okay. So-
Now, let's qualify that. Would we have to lease the building plus the sales, or can we purchase the building and lease the sales?
So my understanding, the units that Captain Harris are looking at are one and none units, the building and the sales included.
Yeah, we're wanting to, like what Commissioner Collins has alluded to, we're wanting to purchase a building and put them inside of it. I think that's what the sheriff had.
We were looking at it both ways. We're looking at doing
Both
that
ways.
plus just leasing the pod.
But I think there was a year wait on getting those spots. I think it's our downfall.
Okay, so, the last conversation that I had with Captain Harris last week and the judge was that there was a unit available in Missouri that would meet our specs. It is pretty expensive.
Judge Sylvia is back from.
Morning.
It's time to get on the bus.
I wasn't throwing you under the bus, I remember you now.
Sure.
Right, the unit that was available,
Missouri,
in Missouri, is it not applicable?
We need to get, we could lease it from what you said. It's pretty expensive.
It was for sale, but I think it didn't.
No, according to sheriff,
Gotcha.
look, we need other options, and we're looking at. In fact, I talked to HOK yesterday, they do some of that.
Okay.
And then there are some units that are shipping containers that you can lease, it's one unit. I have to do a little more research about if we could lease one section of it, if we purchase the building and lease the sales. I have to do a little bit more research on that. Since I'm just not familiar with.
Yeah, and we need to look at, we may want to purchase it. This is all code related. We got 091 money that.
yeah, because
Purchase
we
and
could
sell it
just
after.
purchase the building out of other funds and then get the sales through the American Rescue.
Or buy the sales too and sell them when we get through them.
If we could use American Rescue for it, it'd be great.
Well,
That's the reason, it was my understanding we had to lease, we couldn't
Yes.
purchase through the American Rescue, that's the only drawback.
that's, yeah, but we could also purchase 091. This is all COVID related, health services. So, we got two pots that we could pull from one or the other, whatever makes the most sense.
Most grants nowadays, you're hard pressed to find one that allows you to do permanent brick and mortar is the best way to describe it. So to purchase buildings or build permanent office type space, you're kind of hard pressed to find anything.
Ask you this, can you do a lease with a purchase option? Would that
Yes,
qualify with it?
Absolutely.
With the lease going towards the purchase.
Hmm?
With the lease payment going towards the purchase.
So see if
That would be something to negotiate in the contract, but absolutely, yes, you could do that.
you think it qualifies to lease purchase?
Yes. Yes.
And also there are capital companies that will actually make the purchase and then lease back to you. Unique situation. I've actually done that with equipment before.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, we're gonna look over this list. I know that there was some stuff y'all was wanting to change. So I didn't know I know Commissioner Hammond being out right now, that, I didn't know if he was gonna meet with Samantha. I think we was gonna discuss this at the next court.
Well, I think the priority one is gonna be jail now.
I agree.
And I don't know if we just move that in and move the rest of it
Landfill
down.
and jail.
Yes, sir. So it's probably not gonna be on this next court, just because we don't have the numbers for the jail. It'll probably be on the first court in September. Just because I don't have, unless we could get some sort of estimate of cost, which we can, absolutely build that in.
Yeah, we should have something from HO&K. They were supposed to get us something this morning
For the jail, for.
for both what we need right now and then a budget number. Did you say 15,000 to get
Yeah.
us to bond on the
15,000,
Justice Center?
But nothing, I haven't heard anything about the women's facility yet.
So if you direct it, let me know, and I'll get, Patrick can get down by tomorrow.
So there's several folks that, I mean, Sheriff's working with Carl Griffith,
Right.
you know, and I'm talking to them and then Todd's working on it, so.
Sure, so as long as we have like a rough number of what we think it would cost, we can build that in. We did build a little bit of wiggle room into some of these numbers on this list as well. And realistically, best laid plans, we may get into this, and we all know the price of materials right now. The numbers here could fluctuate substantially, so these are very rough estimates. Once we get into it, it may be that things are way more expensive or less expensive. If it's way more expensive, we wouldn't make it through the whole list. And then obviously the total numbers on this list are way more than the funds that we have, just because in case we get in there and something happens, by the grace of God, to be way less than anticipated. We have enough projects.
So jail is gonna stay, jail's gonna be number one.
Right,
Yes.
absolutely.
And then, in my mind, that the sale.
Right.
Yeah, I think personally, I think the sale may be number one because we can use 091 money for the jail. And it's gonna be some, I mean, we gotta do the sale and we can't use 091 money for it. We could have justified. it.
Well, personally, I'd rather use 091 at this point and leave these projects. But we can put it on our list in case.
Yeah, now I got a question. All of this, does it matter what order they are printed in? As long as they're priority ones, they're priority ones.
Yes, sir. And.
I think the way they're listed, priority ones, we list them that way, so
Yes, and that is. this
we can
is-
always change it around.
Absolutely. This is roughly the priority that we've kind of discussed throughout our several months of talking. But we absolutely can move things around. And then also, it's not gonna happen because of timeline in the order that's in the list. So yes, that's our top priority and we're gonna budget those funds and not spend them. But probably the first thing that we're gonna get done is that document retention for Patty's office, just because that's gonna be.
Well, yeah, that was one reason I was asking because this way back on like the third
Right,
page.
yes, but that's probably gonna be the first thing we do, just because it's not gonna take any time at all to do. The construction projects, you're looking at 24 to 36 months, we all know this, that's just the nature of it.
By the time we start or get into some of these projects, we'll have the other 4.5 million.
Right, yes, so we'll do a phased approach, we'll get the second, they're calling it a tranche of funds, May 11th of next year. And it'll just be the other half, and we won't have to request that, it'll just be deposited. And we're just gonna have to keep an eye out.
So we had some requests from some health folks. My understanding, the state has provided nurses to several places. So is that request off the table? Is it?
So from my understanding, and just what you and I discussed yesterday, my understanding, Riceland Medical is getting 10 nurses paid for by the state. I don't know what NWAC is doing. I have not spoken with them, but Riceland is supposed to be getting 10 nurses and 10.
Have you talked to them?
I talked to Mr. Merle yesterday, I haven't talked to him tonight. But he told me exactly what you said, that the TDM is gonna provide some outdoor hospital tents for them, as well as additional staffing. I have not spoken to Bayside or Chambers Health yet.
Somebody told me this morning that Sanderson Methodist got 40 or 50. Was that you that
Yeah.
told me?
They're getting 50.
That was me too.
Oh, was you told me?
Yeah.
I think somebody did. Okay.
50.
So apparently, now, I think we still go through the process, and if anybody wants to request, we set that up, let them requests and whether, if we justify, we'll put a committee together. There's 091 money, there's ARP money, and if we feel like we need to do something, we can do it.
Right, my recommendation would be that we develop the process for requesting those funds. That way we, number one, have documentation and we have a structured way of ascertaining who gets what. How much each person gets based on some sort of scale of loss versus need. We have that in place, and then if this comes to be that we decide, or the hospital districts or whoever is in breaking, we send them through that process, again, for documentation, transparency purposes.
Patrick
so
will
that
help
it's
us develop
fair.
that, right?
Patrick will help us with that.
Good.
Yes,
So we,
absolutely.
we have multiple health services facilities within this county. I mean.
More than you realize, I
Yes.
think.
And
So it's not just the three that kind of, I think, come to mind, are Chambers Health, Riceland, and Patient CR, but there are a ton of
Urgent
doctors'
cares.
offices, urgent cares. And so we'd be hard pressed to, without some sort of standardized quantitative system, decide who gets how much money. I think having that in place would just make it fair for everybody and make sure that we're being transparent with our taxpayers.
And it would be only be an injection of money one time. It's not
Yes.
like these funds are going to be continuously available to continue to pay salaries.
No, it wouldn't be, but yeah, it would be. And we'll make sure they understood that if we do give them a grant or whatever we want to call it.
That's what it would be.
And, right now, within September, it's all reimbursable anyway, 100%, so.
Right, and there would be stipulations attached to how they can spend
This
the
is
funds,
something
of course. And the other thing that I think is worth noting is this is not a quick fix for anybody, because we need to do the appropriate legwork to make sure we're developing a sound system, and we're looking at several months at the earliest. And I told Mr. Merle that, and I told Nellie that when I spoke with both of them, that this is not a quick fix, that the money's there and we're just gonna.
TDM's there for the quick fix.
TDM's a quick fix,
Our
we're gonna be a
additions.
longer solution.
That, I mean, like you, I think you expressed to Mr. Morrow that there's additional funds that are going to come available
Yes,
that the hospitals and them
yes.
can apply for directly themselves.
Absolutely,
So-
and they've got some support organizations that can apply for additional funds as well. There's gonna be some legality of which organization can apply, Riceland versus their hospital board, same thing with Chambers Health. But I am watching all of that and sharing that information with them as I receive it, so that we're making sure to support our.
If you don't mind, send it to me as well, and probably the rest of the commissioners, because we get
Absolutely.
asked that question all the time from the healthcare people as well, so we can be halfway in the loop, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem at all.
So.
So do you want to go through this list kind of one by one?
No, I
I
don't,
think-
this is, and it's really not a budget item. It's, I
Yeah,
don't think we
it
did.
is. And I do have a couple of quick questions just to have.
Absolutely.
One, there are no priority twos.
No, everything's priority one on there.
No, there's
No, you go
threes,
down.
4s, 5s.
So we need to
Oh,
change
it's
that.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if it's, we're not going to get down that far, I know, because we ran out of money a long time ago. But, we've got a regional lift station at priority 3,
Sure.
but we have a sheriff request at priority 4. And, I just kind of looking at how we came up with some of these positioning. Not saying it's not right, but I just wonder what the thoughts are behind them. We got force mains at a 3 and
Mhm.
a shower stall at a 4, so.
So we had a little committee, it was Aaron, myself, Commissioner Hammond, and Patrick's team, that we all kind of discussed these projects as they came in. As you guys know, I sent out an email to all department heads and said, let me know if you have any projects that you think would meet the criteria. And we actually started out with a list about double this size and went through, and a lot of it just really wasn't applicable or wouldn't have been an eligible expense. We would have been stretching really far. And so some of the things that are on this list in the order that they're in is because of how strongly we felt we could justify it. For example, the body cameras. I think we'd kind of be stretching to justify that with these funds. I think we could do it, but it might be a little stretched. Now, I'm of the mindset, and so is Patrick, that we don't want to get so hung up in how are we gonna justify something that we don't do anything. So we included some stuff on here that may or may not happen, may not be justifiable, but we thought it was pretty close. That's kind of how that happened. Now, the lift station and the other stuff pertaining to TBCD came up because when Core Power was looking at us pretty closely, and we knew that we were gonna have to, or that they were gonna have to increase their capacity substantially to support the influx of residents that we ultimately have from that. I'm open to you guys' suggestion about changing things around. That's one of the reasons that we're gonna bring it to court for you guys to let me know where you wanna move things to. And it may be that you guys don't wanna do those projects at all with TBCD since that Core Power is not coming here. And I'm open to whatever really. But that is why that one ranked a little bit more highly, because it was a more immediate pertinent need that would have been a really big selling point to Core Power that we were gonna help enhance that infrastructure with.
Well, I think that jail shower stall rehabilitation, that's 091 also. So I think these, whether we leave them on here and then we have the option to fund them out either way, which I think we should,
I agree.
but I mean, they qualify for the next also.
Do we have
Like I
to
said, these others don't. So.
do we have to submit the list or?
No.
No, okay, this is for internal.
Right. So Patrick and I have talked about this at length, and Aaron's been in on those conversations. There are very, very little guidelines available from the treasurer. And so our thought process here is that we're gonna be extremely stringent with everything we do. We're gonna have an approved plan that we're gonna submit to the court, so we have documentation regarding why we chose the project. We're doing the fair housing stuff that we know we have to do for every single grant. And we're just gonna go to the maximum possible level of legality and red tape to make sure when they come audit us, because they're gonna come audit us, we've done everything we possibly could. And my experience with grants has been that they will retroactively apply things. So one of the best kind of examples of that is the historically underutilized businesses and the minority and women-owned businesses. When they enacted those regulations, they retroactively applied them. And so one of the findings we had on our audit from last January 2020 was that some of our procurement from 2013 didn't have that specific language that they wanted in it, because they didn't establish that until 2016. So we're just trying to be as careful as we possibly can. So this is certainly not required, but I think it's the best thing we can do. And the other thing that it allows us to do is, say we don't get through this whole list, we have other funding come available. We've already got an approved list of projects that need to be completed through court, and it'll help us to justify any future applications for funding. So it's just one of those extra steps that we're taking. Technically, it's not necessary, but I feel more comfortable. I think it supports the county, it protects the county for future stuff, and it also gives us a leg to stand on when other money is available.
Okay.
All right, thanks for the explanation.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you, great job.
Okay.
Fine.
Judge, the only other thing I think we'd like to discuss, well, I know I'd like to discuss is the hospital bill.
Yeah, no, I've got a note on that. We need to talk about it. And then we need to, I think we need to go to executive session and talk about personnel issues.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
all right, so hospital.
Thank you, Ms.
I think we're done with you. Thank you, ma'am.
I'll see you.
We're done with you. Did you hear that?
Well, don't be totally done. I still need my job.
Thank you, Samantha.
You bring cookies,
Thanks,
bye.
Thanks,
Well,
Sam.
I didn't know or else I would have been prepared.
Yeah, I like that. I think we're done with you.
You're always prepared, Samantha.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Anything else, just let me know.
Will do. All right, so, to the hospital district, what we're gonna budget, I think there's appetite to budget something. And, you know, they started out, came to us, was, they wanted the same thing, EMS getting 750, next time they came 1.5. I really, y'all may have heard it, I don't really know the reason for the increase from 750 to 1.5.
To get their taxes lower.
Yeah, they're.
No, I know that was originally.
No, they didn't offer any additional justification for numbers. They really didn't. When it boils down to it's, you know, it's, well, anyhow, I told you last court what I thought about it, and I am inclined to give them something.
What is our highest that we've done out of the jail through the hospital? What is that? I mean, is it 450, 400, 250?
The numbers I was looking at was around 500.
500.
Okay, so
I
that
think.
would come out of that. We would not get billed for that through them.
Correct.
Doing this here.
I mean, we approve a budget number and then we work a contract to fit it,
Yes.
is the way I see it.
I totally agree with that. I mean,
So if we just did 500, I mean, basically it's a wash. And I'm guessing at that number, I think that's what it was. I think
It was 200 to 400, I thought.
Yeah, I was thinking a little less.
Because you never know.
It was actually, I can't remember, I think it was a little bit down this year. I don't remember.
I don't mind giving a little cushion.
I think it was down due to the fact that we didn't have any people in jail because we weren't arresting them, weren't serving bonds, warrants, and that last.
Seemed like 2019 was maybe a peak. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, 2019 was about 728.
720,000?
Yeah, yes, sir. 2020, 500. 18, 200.
I think we were up
17,
there
200.
because of COVID.
No, that was 19, it was 728.
So 19 was a peak. It was a big one. It was
700.
So maybe that number's 750,
That's
to be
what-
fair.
I would
Because
be
we
fair
are
with
arresting
750.
folks again and
Right.
and we're only going to grow.
And
Can I
I
talk-
wouldn't even mind if we did 750 sitting in at a minimum, and then if the numbers in the jail go over.
We can increase.
Well, yeah, but they're taking a chance, they're gonna get 750 up front. One year, they're gonna make 250,000, basically. Next year, they may go over 250, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I think we budget that, and I know the judge and I've discussed this here. I think we have to be real careful in how we word our contract with them, or
Yeah, and Ashley's working on that. So.
working on that. How these funds are utilized for them.
Well, in thinking back, put yourself in their shoes. If we're making a trade-off, we're not really giving them any additional funds.
That's right.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
we're giving them
it's
750
still-
first of the year, they're getting this money and they're trading. They're not, here's what they're billing for that. It doesn't mean that's what they're spending for it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I understand, but it's still, you're leveling the revenue out.
Yeah, you want to be careful that they're not leveraging that revenue towards some kind of debt or what I'm saying.
Do we really care as long as they take care of our?
Indigent.
I don't know, I mean.
I mean, I don't know.
I
I'm throwing that
don't-
question out there. That's a question, I guess. for
I don't
Ashley.
know either, but
I mean, we have, I don't know what kind of requirements we're gonna have. Is this gonna be something we audit on them? Is this something we're just gonna do a trade?
I think it'd be a contract for services. And it's a contract, we pay them X amount of money and we expect X amount of services, just like we do with some other entities
Okay.
that we use, we have contracts with those. We can't give charitable donations, but we contract for services.
And all that is. we can-
So you got, yeah, I think we'd have to.
That they will treat indigent care from the jail and from people walking into their clinics from Chambers County.
How does
At a
this,
certain percent, probably to 200%, I
Right.
think it was.
how does this affect what Landis and them does? I mean, is this gonna take anything from them?
No,
Okay,
Well, yes, it has to. It can't.
no, we'll still be doing what we did.
I understand, but our poverty rate is so much lower than what theirs is. Why would anybody come to the county for that, for what Landis is doing, when it can go there?
Well, we don't have that many anyway.
I think it's.
I mean, we're monitoring. Of course, Landis is not just doing innocent health. She's got these other programs where they're getting money and going out to the,
Other grapevine.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's not mixed in with WIC though, right?
no, completely
Because
separate.
I know like, generally we get like 50 grand. Yeah, 50 grand and then 50 voucher program through a grant. Probably some other grant.
Help with electricity, there's things that qualify for it and for the year that we get in under engine health and put out. I mean, because our engine health, with our poverty level the way it is, we don't have many clients. Well, and all we got's one part of the county anyway.
So 750 contract for services.
I still we budget that.
I think-
You work around the contract and
I mean, that's a good starting point.
I agree, and I think, we'll see how it goes, and it's not to say we can't revisit it in the future. But I think it's fair. I think it's a fair ask.
After looking at, I mean,
Yeah.
I like the numbers that they're growing. I mean, I believe that there's.
I mean, they're providing service. And
And if we can help those taxpayers, any and all, that would just be
Yes.
icing on the cake.
Okay. What else? Aaron,
No, that's really I had. I'll update this to show the changes in salaries, across the board stuff, and then I'll put hotel, motel, and the 091 fund on there.
Okay.
We're still working to close the gap. I think we're getting closer.
I feel like $2 million gap, 2.5.
2.4.
2.4.
well, we got
If-
we got a place to fill that from the $7 million surplus we had from last year. Increase in surplus from last year.
What's the total, rough numbers, what's the total payroll?
Damn.
Well,
I'm just trying to figure out what a percent is.
the real world is. Total payrolls.
47 million, okay.
Yeah,
so-
that's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what we are.
So,
As employees.
so one point of that.
Say those
or
numbers
one half
again.
a point of that is your.
47.
Okay.
2 million.
Say it again?
I'm just trying to figure out what can a half a point.
0.5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 2 million.
We're big boys.
3.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why we got a $7 million surplus. I mean.
No, I agree.
that-
We can work it out.
And we want a good surplus, but if your surplus gets to be too much, then, you're gonna be expected to lower taxes and not do as much as needs to be done. There's things that need to be done.
Yes, sir.
And we had a reduction in value. We're staying there, so we're only gonna be able to go back up 3.5%. It's gonna take us a few years
To get back up
catch
to where
up.
we were.
to catch up where we are now.
Maybe
No, I agree.
So-
year 4.
No, I'm sorry, I completely doubled that or something. 27 million is payroll.
27.
That sounds more.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was like, 27 is
Okay.
right.
No,
32. Come on, I was right, cowboy.
that's
47
What's our
We'll
total,
forgive
what
you.
was our total budget?
45.
Total budget.
About 60,
Yeah.
around 60. It's around 60 million. 60 million.
60, 55, something like that.
Depends on whether you're counting grants.
I'll separate my mind.
So we talked about
60, 65.
school equalization.
Yeah, I kind of let them know that, kind of what I did was, because now they have a separate entity, so if you look on the appraised value, on the certified values, there's school equalization.
It's not included in ours.
Right, so it's it's like the total county value. So instead of the 4 cents, I lowered about 2 cents, so that should get exactly about where they're, a little bit more what they're.
2.6 cents, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, of course, if y'all have something different, then let me know.
Yeah, we want to
As
give
long
them.
as we're not cutting them,
Right.
I mean, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, not
We're gonna
cutting
give them more.
dollar-wise, just-
We're not, as long as you don't cut them and we're not including them in 381s anymore. Oh, we are including them, but they're getting 100% under 381.
So that is incorporated into that new proposed tax rate, right? The total rate.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure it's not separate. That includes road and bridge and everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, so it shows no rating.
But Judge, you're right. It's going to take it's going to take a couple of years to get back up to that.
Yeah.
Assuming we have increases in values.
True.
But because we have some good maintenance rolling off.
Yes, definitely. So, I don't know, did y'all talk about 10-year plan? I'm budgeting, do it.
We did, we were wondering, is Nathan bringing that
proposal back next quarter?
He said he'd give me the proposal. He said it's gonna be a 25,000 max. I'm thinking we budget a little more in
I
case
do
we
too.
take another step. Once we get a report, whether it's with him or with somebody else, or, well, I think we budget the money, then we figure out where to go with it.
I agree, Judge, because that's the biggest thing that we need is we need a game plan that
For
we
getting
can.
that, for the Justice Center mainly, at least.
Thank you.
Billy's, I mean, yeah, we've got to have.
You agree, right, Billy?
No, I think we all agree to
The
that.
next court, he would just be bringing a proposal of his cost, not the analysis.
Right.
No,
No. He'll give us a general.
all I want is a
overview.
proposal that if we decide to go with it, we can. And then, yes, we'll task him to do whatever.
Thank you.
But Judge, when we're budgeting that, we also talked about budgeting some money to hold the election and also to maybe put some educational materials and stuff together for that.
Well, we're gonna have an election, well, unless we go in May.
Well, we were kind of thinking about going in May. It gives us 9 months. I mean, we've got 9 months to do it. So I think,
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. We'll have to budget some extra money.
unless we run the numbers and it looks like we want to hold off a few
Oh,
more
yeah.
months. So, when the tax rate hits.
That's probably what it's gonna look like. But you've seen the 381s rolling off. It's a couple of years.
We got some
really-
abatements rolling off. Yeah, not in the three.
Of course, once we get the senior plan done, we sit down with the financial folks and say, all right, tell us. I think
What we can
that
spend.
plan will tell us that.
Right.
And when we can spend it.
I agree.
So we're ready to go to bond, and whenever that is.
And it may be that, I don't know, I'm just throwing things out, that we build a jail and a couple of years later, we build a
Yeah,
justice center.
and I told him, we told HOK yesterday, that's how we wanted two proposals. One for just the jail, one for both.
So we keep the tax rate flat as we.
Great. As we sell the bond.
Yeah, we could get a bond for both.
And
You got
Just
then-
not
bond.
sell it.
Yeah.
Jimmy looking strong.
That sounds good. I want to keep it as flat as possible.
No,
We all
that's-
do, Jimmy.
Yeah,
I mean, we all do, but at the end of the day, this jail and justice center is been in the rearview mirror for over a decade. The wheel has turned. It's time for us to step up and get this done.
it is.
So what we're gonna budget, 30 grand, 35?
I think we budget 50.
I agree.
I mean, that gives us, if we take another step, if it's another 25,
I'd rather be.
Now you need 3 million.
No, 2,450,000, Billy. Come on now.
that should be included. because-
I'm just messing with
I
you.
know who you are.
And that back on the bond.
Yes, once we get the bond approved,
Right.
we can refund the
I
county.
don't bring a lot to a table, but I've been around the election or two. And HOK should be picking up majority of the costs of the signage and those type things.
Yeah.
It's gonna come back to us.
And they need to hold some workshops, or not workshops, but.
It's done all over America.
They will.
That's
I mean, because it's to their benefit to get the bond approved. And we can't really push it. So.
That's right.
that'd be them.
No, we can't.
But we can't push it actually.
But I
So
can
We can
say
inform.
we need it.
We can inform.
did y'all talk about,
I'm gonna give you dates, Judge, on, you gotta have your act together by this date for a May election.
okay, thank you.
And then, we're playing
And I,
for
yeah,
next November, but for May,
and I don't
it'll
know,
creep up on us only because of the holidays and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
yeah, and I don't know if we need to do it that quick. This 10-year plan is gonna show us that.
Yes.
We need to do it as soon as, I mean, we need to do it sooner than later.
Soonest, right. But the
No,
10-year
we don't
plan
want
is
to push
gonna-
it if
it's gonna really give us more clarity. You're right, Your Honor.
Yeah, we get approval to sell the bonds, then I guess you sell them whenever you want to.
Well, next November is midterm,
That sound right here?
so it's.
You don't have to sell the bonds immediately. I don't. That's a
There's
question.
there's a window.
And to me, it sounded like.
I can go with us.
There's a window.
Yeah, ask our, yeah, here's, and maybe this is how you do it. You get $100 million bond approved and you sell 10 million of it the first year, because like that's how much you sell without going on taxes, sell another 20, however, we'll figure that out.
The only drawback to that is getting the public trust that you won't sell them all at one
Well, I don't know.
time.
if you
How
I
do we
think,
guarantee that?
I don't think you do guarantee it. I just think you get it approved.
No, but I agree. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Because we don't know who's gonna be sitting in these seats in
But
a year or two.
Watkins and them have done that in my value, so. So they'll
That's right.
show us.
So yes, on the hospital, but.
We're gonna budget 750. Yes. And then y'all talk about tax office, West Side Health Services. And our plan is that we need 500,000 from general fund to finish that building for next year.
Oh, so you wanna go ahead and do it and not put it in with the bond?
Yeah, I want to go and do it. I mean, we're probably go forward with the architectural work.
Yeah.
So. And we got the money to do it. It's gonna free up some.
No,
office
that
space.
didn't work.
It's gonna free up a lot of office space. But yeah, you can. Billy?
Mhm.
I want to see our plan first.
Yeah,
See what?
I want to see our plan first before we budget 500 grand for our tax office.
Well,
The tax office was not 500 grand, it was 600 grand total.
yeah, and I don't know if you get
It's
that
really for
that
the
right
health
now
services.
anyway, but
And commissioner,
really the 500,000 is for tax office and commissioner.
I understand.
Portion of it.
It's additional 500,000. We're adding that on top of the 600 grand we already had.
That's correct.
Right.
Mhm.
We're going
I
from
can have the whole.
2,500 square foot to 10,000.
Yeah,
We'll take the old. part
Yeah,
out,
5,000 down,
take the
5,000 up.
Management,
Say it again.
just in the old, some of that current annex will be made into some emergency management space in case there's an issue and we get cut.
For the west side.
Cut off.
you see, here's what's gonna happen. First, does that $3 million include FF&E? And then we're gonna have renovations back on the old tax space and commissioner space that's been vacated because it needs to be utilized for something else. So it's not gonna stop at $3 million. I mean, it is going to be well above that.
Yeah,
And we need to know what the total cost is and what it's gonna look like on our budget. You know, it's just, we still got
well,
architects.
that 500,000 included FF&E on the side of it for the commissioner. I mean,
For
you know,
the tax
I figured
office.
that.
Then you got
The
the,
tax
you know,
office
you got the
commissioner.
health services. I mean, what about FF&E on it?
I don't know if that's included in that number or not.
What was
That was a good
the
question.
total budget was what, 3 million? And for,
2 point,
that's $300 a square foot?
2 point what? We talked about it yesterday, Aaron, you're gone.
Yeah. I lost it.
Okay. Yeah, close to 3 million. I think we figured 3 million. It was 2.7, so we figured 3 million. 60% of it to 91, 40% general funds.
That's including FF&E.
Yeah, we had.
But $300 a foot roughly is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it should include FF&E.
You know, rebuilding this non-tilt wall, I mean, it's gonna be a lot.
Probably brick or something. I would say.
It's not gonna be like that.
If it's, I mean, my Bellevue's got a facade. Well, they cannot legally dictate a facade anymore, but still.
Yeah, I think I didn't, we need to. Okay, what else before we go to executive session personnel? Anything?
That's all I got.
Anything?
Something else I want to go, but I can't think of it now. You start talking about the name tax office.
really well.
All right, Then we will recess to executive session and personnel. 11:37 a.m. Oh,
See, now if we do this on A,
is Aaron coming around and turn us off? Yeah, there he comes. Chambers County Commissioner Court come to order after executive session. It's now, what time is that? 10 after 1? 10 after 2, 2:06. I couldn't see that clock. There's a shadow from the TV.
It's called shadow kill, Judge.
Nothing further to come before the court in the budget workshop. We are adjourned.